Steel and Flame, Book 1 of the Guilds of Avlaan series is available on Amazon. If you like fluffy wolf lolly protagonists and Japanese light novels, follow the link below to check it out.
Hello, Leonardo Cornejo here with another video, and I had many topics in my mind for this video, but I decided to go for one which was basically the one that has been resonating a lot more with me, especially since I just released the third book of the Guilds of Avlaan series, while doing so without a proper cover. And digital only. It has a placeholder cover, and that's why it's only on digital, and that's why there is no advertising about it yet. But the thing is, I often make polls asking people about ideas I have which I am unsure about, and that's one of the ideas, and that's where I go with the topic of today's video, and it's the fact that one needs to draw a line between his vision as a creator and the audience. The thing is, many artists go to the extremes. Either they try to only satisfy their vision and they are like, alright, my audience, I don't need their opinion is worth nothing, I don't need to worry about them. Or they go to the other extreme and they start basically thinking, oh, I need to please my audience all the time, and they start sacrificing their integrity. For example, J.K. Rowling did that. She sacrificed her integrity to please her audience constantly, and George R. Martin followed his vision without paying attention to his audience. And there are other examples. For example, right now there is in my mind a recent frustration with Akihito Tsukushi, because apparently he decided to kill Nanachi off, and that bothers me a lot, and most fans are dissatisfied, and that's another reason why I decided to make this video, because what I want to talk about is the fact that you need to find a balance. You can, of course, follow your heart, follow your vision, and keep your vision stronger than the opinion of the audience. You don't need to please your audience all the time. You don't need to focus on pleasing your audience. The problem is that what you can't do is the complete opposite, making everyone in your audience upset, making people drop your work, give up on it, grow frustrated, grow tired, and say, look, I don't have a reason to follow you anymore. You need to keep a certain level of customer satisfaction. This is a business. If you are not writing as a business, if you are writing for the sake of whatever, don't charge your audience. Do it for free. If you are not trying to do it as a business, do it for free, because once you start making money, it's a business, and when you are in a business, you need to care about customer satisfaction. This is the part many writers, many artists don't understand. You need to focus on customer satisfaction. That's where I go. You don't need to let your audience control everything, but especially in the parts that are basically money making, you need to take their opinion into account. That's why I decided to consult my audience on all these decisions. For example, like publishing a book with a placeholder cover, and planning on getting money for an artist with the earnings of the book. That's basically the plan. I wanted to release the book. I don't have the cover yet, so I release it with a placeholder cover in digital only, so that you don't have to worry about the physical edition having a bad cover. And then when I have the money, I hire an artist and get the physical cover, and now you can buy prints, and you can buy paperback, you can buy hardcover, and you can buy digital with the new cover. That way everyone wins. that was my idea. I consulted my audience, and they said it isn't a bad idea. If they said it was a bad idea, I wouldn't have done it. That's the part where I'm saying, when I'm unsure about something, when I think, hey, this could work, but it could be a terrible idea, I consult my audience. Why? Because it's about customer satisfaction. It's especially in the part of making money, their opinion is important. There are plenty of writers and, in general, creators and artists who kind of forget the importance of that. They tend to forget the fact that you need to keep the customer satisfied, that you need to get the how do I say, you need to get the people who are paying attention to you. You need to get them to continue supporting you. Regarding the part of the creative process of the story, which is where there is often conflict, just make sure they don't hate it. That's the thing. For example, with the case of Nanachi. Make sure they don't hate your vision. They won't be disappointed. They won't drop your work, and that's the thing. I'm on the line that if Nanachi dies, count me out forever. I'm done. It's over. I'm not interested anymore. I don't give a fuck about the story. I care about Nanachi. I'm not the only one who thinks like that, and that's why I say you need to take your audience into account. You can follow your vision without conflicting with your audience. You need a balance. You need a middle point. Most creators don't get there. And again, there is also the part of not letting them control your vision completely. In my case, I think one of the healthiest ways to avoid being controlled by the audience is not reading fanfics. Not paying attention to what the audience suggests, not taking their suggestions or their ideas into account, not listening to shippers, especially not listening to shippers. If someone in your audience, for example, says, hey, this could be a great idea, for example, I don't know, if you had a character who is a robot in a fantasy setting, but a robot, and you think, hey, I can make that work with magic instead of science. Yeah, let's make a robot. That's healthy creator and audience feedback. But if they start, oh, this character should marry this one, ignore them. Ignore them entirely. Don't let them influence your decisions on pre-existing characters unless it is something like, dude, if that character dies, I'm walking out. Make sure your decisions won't scare them away, but don't let them influence your decisions. Keep your vision, but without scaring your audience away by killing of a character or doing something bad. There are many ways in which bad things can happen when you pay attention to your audience. For example, in Legend of Korra, that sucked. The ship between Korra and Asami didn't make sense. In general, shipping and relationships in Legend of Korra were garbage. I don't know what the authors were thinking. I don't know what Brian Konietzko and Dante Di Martino were thinking, but from the very first season, basically they are writing love triangles, they are writing relationship drama, they are trying to write these YA cliches, and they sucked. They were bad, really bad, awful. The way they handled the last episode was terrible, and it was to please the shippers. That's the truth. It was to please the shippers. There is even evidence of that. The thing is, they shouldn't have done that. It actually bothered a lot of people, a lot more people than the people it pleased. That's why I say you need to make sure your decisions won't bother your audience, but you don't need to be a people pleaser. You don't need to focus on making your audience decide for you. The only part you need to worry about is finding that balance between listening to your audience and keeping your vision as it is. And in that balance you will find success. Now, that's for economic purposes. If you want to follow your vision 100% without paying attention to what your audience has to say, without caring about your audience basically giving up on you if they think you have taken the wrong turn, don't do it for money. Do it for free. Because then you don't have to worry about making a proper business. But if you are doing this for money, if you are writing for money, you really need to take the opinion of your audience into account, at least to the point that you make sure the people you want to get money from give you money. That's simple. If you are doing this as a business, if you are writing for money, you need to make sure that people you want the money from will want to give you money. Many writers, many artists in all fields of the arts, including visual arts, including literature, including sculpture, acting, music, they either don't understand that and end up making a mistake that scares away the audience or at least disappoints them, or pretend to follow only their vision and give you this advice of all you need to do is follow your vision, and that's not how it works. They tell you that because they don't want you to really know how difficult things are, because they don't have the expectations of you actually doing it. No, you can't just follow your vision. You can't, it's like in life in general, you can't just be yourself. You need to be the best version of yourself. You need to follow your vision, but in a way that won't bother your audience, that won't make them refuse to give you money. And especially nowadays, with all the things that are happening, we see this more and more often. For example, that you have this sequel that goes, basically the first game, the first film, the first book was excellent, and then you have this sequel which starts injecting the creator's political views, and it sucks, and it's bad, and people are starting to grow tired of that, and they start ignoring them. If you don't want that to be the fate of your work, you need to start paying attention to what your audience says, paying attention to what your audience wants, making sure they won't be frustrated, they won't be bothered, and they won't refuse to give you money, because you need their money. If you are doing this as a business, you need their money. If you are doing this for money, you need their money. If you are not doing this for money, don't pay attention to this basically. If you are not doing this for money, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. Follow your vision, follow that passion, follow that heart, whatever, follow that soul or whatever you want to call it. But if you are doing this for money, you need to find a balance between that and pleasing your audience. Many creators say that this perspective I have is soulless and that it won't get successful. That this vision I have, this perspective I have of finding a balance between your artistic vision and pleasing your audience is bound to fail, but the reality shows the contrary. The truth is, you need to find that balance. Again, if you become a people pleaser and start pleasing only your audience, it won't work, because then your creativity will run out. But if you start following only your vision, you can always make one single misstep and lose everything. And that's what happened to George R. R. Martin. He started following his vision, and his vision wasn't that good. Well, that's it for today. This month has been terrible, it has been heavy, I have been in trouble sleeping, my cat almost died, he's still sick. So that's why if you think it's too improvised, it's because it is, because I wanted to release something for this month before it was over. That's it for today. Have a good one.